Well, I'm starting the second part of this adventure. I left Chiclana this morning. I'm currently in Cadiz, heading toward the bus station here to catch a bus to Sevilla. And from there, I will catch another bus and be on my way to Portugal to Fargo, and or not Fargo, I'm not sure exactly what the city is, but eventually I'll be transferring there and heading to Lagos. So yeah, it's pretty much today my last day in Spain, and I'm going to be on the road pretty much in buses heading to Portugal. So and then tomorrow I will start hiking the Fisherman's Trail. Well, after a full day of hopping from one bus to another, I finally made it to Lagos. And right now, as you can see, it's already kind of late. And right now, I'm just looking for a place to have some dinner. And then I'll be taking off on the trail early tomorrow morning. Okay, my hike of the Fisherman's Trail has officially begun. Yeah, I'm still in Lagos. Left my hostel fairly late this morning, really. Had a little breakfast, and I'm have now begun my hike. So, yeah, for anyone who's not watched my previous videos, the Fisherman's Trail is actually part of the Ruta Vicentina, and goes along the southwest coast of Portugal. So I will be, people typically do the hike in anywhere from 10 days to a couple of weeks, and I'm planning on getting that done in 10 days. And so yeah, you know, I've this is a new trail to me. I've done a little bit of research, but for the most part, I really don't know what to expect other than seeing you know, plenty of the Atlantic Ocean. Although there are a couple of spots along the way where I'll go inland a little bit. I'll be hiking on a lot of sand, and I don't have my gaiters on today, but once I get to the sandy parts, to avoid getting a lot of sand in my shoes, I've got some gaiters I will put on. So yeah, and there'll be some going up and down a lot of the cliffs along the coast, according to the research that I've done. So it should be an interesting hike. I think it's just a moderate hike. It's not going to be anything like the Appalachian Trail, but I'm sure there'll be some challenging points. Yeah, and definitely a lot of great views. So I'll be taking a lot of pictures and videos along the way. So that's enough for now. I'll check in later. The trail is marked with these green and blue blazes just to assure you that you are indeed on the trail. Well, this is me from the next day. What was supposed to be a pretty easy hike on my first day on the trail. Unfortunately, I had made a couple of mistakes in my planning and just had a little bit of bad luck. And it became a much different hike than what I had originally anticipated. So yeah, according to my research that I had done, the hike from Lagos to Salima was supposed to be a relatively short hike. I think earlier I said that was going to be less than 10 miles that I thought. But that was not the case. It was closer to 15 miles, I think, to get to Salima. But the accommodations that I made at Hostel on the Hill, I don't know if this was my mistake or if Booking.com was a little misleading, but it was not in Salima, and turned out that it was back inland quite a bit, and a pretty long hike up into the hills to the appropriately named Hostel on the Hill. So ultimately, I ended up hiking 18 miles, I think it was, of hike for my first day, which was supposed to be an easy hike because I was supposed to be recovering from running the half marathon in Chiclana. So, but I made it, but it was kind of rough. Now the trail from Lagos actually was, really easy, and I was so easy that it was nice paved paths, and then some boardwalks, went over some boardwalk areas, so it was nice and smooth and easy, and very populated. There were a lot of people, especially when I was leaving Lagos. Lagos is a large town, and cars coming by. Let the car go by. So yeah, Lagos is a large town, and so there were quite a few people on the trail. A lot of them not necessarily. I don't think were hiking the entire Fisherman's Trail. A lot of them appeared to be just sort of like little day hikers or just people out for a stroll. And all along Lagos and the coast, there were, it's really kind of a resort area. So it was a little deceiving to start. But, after I'd gotten away from Lagos, the trail became a bit more rugged and definitely a lot more up and down the cliffs. And so it was actually a fairly challenging hike for most of it. In fact, I was sort of wishing I might have brought my trekking poles, because some of the descents, especially when you're going down a steep grade, trekking poles can be really handy. And I was wishing that I had those for that portion of the trail. Now, so what happened is I hiked into Salima, and and then also and this was another one of my mistakes. I was having trouble with my cellular, and so I couldn't get directions. My maps and things weren't working quite the way they were supposed to. And here again, this was my mistake. What I had done ultimately was when I crossed the border from Spain into Portugal,
my eSIM. I had to get a different eSIM, and when you set things up, and I'd set it up properly for when I was in Spain, but I thought that I had set everything up properly for my time here in Portugal, but I had forgotten to click a little thing that allowed data roaming, and that was my issue. So I wasn't able to even get maps to direct me to like Hostel on the Hill here. So when I went into Salima, and I thought that's where it was, I stopped into a hotel and asked the person behind the desk. He was really nice, but he hadn't actually heard of it, and the reason he hadn't heard of it is because it wasn't actually in Salima, but he got on Google. I assume he's on Google or something like that, and found it, and it was, quite a ways away. I think it was probably another 2 hours of hiking at least to get to this Favo, I think is the name of this town. I think Favo. So yeah, I finally got here, but I was exhausted, and I'd taken off in the morning from Lagos thinking it was just going to be a short hike. I only had a liter of water, and I ate breakfast before I left, so I thought, well, I can just sort of, eat again when I get there, so I didn't bring any food. So by the time I got here yesterday evening, I was exhausted and hungry and very thirsty, and but I made it, and that's a part of what every adventure is about. The unexpected, and things don't always go the way you plan. So, but I am hoping that the rest of these next 9 days that I have planned on the Fisherman's Trail, I hope they go a bit smoother. So, yeah, but as you can see from the video and stuff that I took before I realized I was in kind of dire straits as far as my hiking of yesterday's trail, I stopped and took a lot of video and pictures, so I hope that you've enjoyed them.
Hello everybody, I'm Johannes from Germany. I met Bill in the hostel last night. We had nice talks, about 10 or to 15 beers or something. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, not at all. Yeah, and today we are going a little bit together on this fisherman's path towards Sagres. Bye.
So hello, this is me again from the next day. Just to do a recap of day two, and day two went much more smoothly than my first day. Thank goodness. So yeah, that first day, my planning wasn't the best. Had some some difficulties with my technology, which was my own fault. There was a setting that I had forgotten to change once I had gone from Spain to Portugal, and my cellular was not working well enough for me to use my maps, and then my original planning of where I was going to be hiking to was off by a few miles, and my batteries started going dead, and so everything that possibly could go wrong seemed to go wrong on that first day. But day 2 has gone pretty well, and it was a much shorter hike, mainly because day 1 was much longer than I thought. Day 1 was almost 18 miles, and so day 2 was just a bit under 10 miles. So I'm pretty much on schedule now as far as the kind of mileage that I wanted to do each day. I need to do about 14 miles a day, and the whole trail is about 140 miles, depending upon what routes you take. So I am on schedule, and but yeah, that first day actually ended quite nicely. Once I made it to the hostel on the hill, which is where I spent that night, I made a couple of friends, stayed up kind of late talking to some of them. I probably should have gone to bed a little bit earlier, but yeah, had some great conversations from another hiker from Germany and one from Austria, and even spent the first half of the day on day 2, which is the day you're watching now, walking with the fellow hiker from Germany. That one was from Germany, and so yeah, it was a nice hike. It was there were some challenging points. The Fisherman's Trail is the trail varies a lot more than I sort of thought it would. I thought it was going to be probably a lot more like the Camino de Santiago in terms of difficulties and things like that. But as it turns out, there are some stretches, especially when you're climbing up and down some of the cliffs, and you are literally climbing, using your hands, going up some of the steeper, rockier portions of the trail. So there are some portions of the trail that are actually more difficult than I thought they might be, and that's why after my first day, I decided to pick up some trekking poles. Okay, here's some guys coming to get me. Okay, yeah, I know, I see ya. Anyway, yeah, I better stop and check to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. I don't want to go too far in the wrong direction and repeat some of my difficulties from day 1. So yeah, I'll check in again later. Okay, so where did I leave off? I think I just mentioned that I picked up some trekking poles because the trail, there have been portions of the trail that have actually been more difficult than I thought they might be, and especially going down some of the steep descents. The trekking poles can come in handy, especially when you're a hiker my age and have your balance isn't quite what it used to be in my youth. So yeah, I'm glad I had an opportunity to pick up these poles. They'll come in handy. Most of the time, as you can see, it's not a big deal. In fact, I'm just now heading out away from my hostel back to the trail. I'm not technically on the trail yet. In about another 5 minutes or so, I should reach the trail and start heading north on today's hike. So yeah, I think that kind of brings you up to date on how day 2 went. It was a nice, pleasant hike. As you can see from my video, I got some good shots of the ocean, and I think that's going to be pretty much the theme of this whole trail. Is just some great views from the cliffs and the beaches along the Atlantic coast here in Portugal. So yeah, I will probably check in. I think what I'm going to do, I've been doing these, I started off these first couple of days doing a little review on the next day. I think maybe in addition to doing the just photographs and videos, I might do a little more narration at the moment. I think that might be a little more interesting video if I'm actually narrating more of my videos. We'll see how it goes. I'm not a great narrator, so this might be the best way for me to do it. We'll see. Okay, so this is the beginning of my day 3 of the Fisherman's Trail. I left the Lighthouse Hostel in Sergues this morning, and I finally made it back to the trail. I think, yeah, it looks like I'm still on the trail, and so yeah, we'll see what this day has in store for me. I think I'm heading to a town called Vila de Bispo, I believe is the name of the town where, and this should be another short hike today, which will allow me to recover a bit more from my half marathon that I ran in Spain on Sunday, and then that long first day that was supposed to be a short first day. So yesterday, you know, was a short day, and I think today will be a similar sort of day, so that it'll give me a chance to recover and maybe establish my trail legs. So yeah, it's kind of difficult. The markers. Oh, I see one up ahead, so I'm heading in the right direction. You have to keep an eye out for the trail markers just to make sure you're still on the trail, and I see a marker down the trail there, so I seem to be heading in the right direction. So yeah, and right now I don't really have much of a view of the coast just yet. It's just right over that ridge over there. I saw it earlier when I first got on the trail, but it's I'm going back inland a little bit now into this rocky path. So yeah, I don't know, like I said, I don't really I've never hiked the Fisherman's Trail before, so I never know what's going to be around the next bend. Right now the hiking is very easy, no poles required, no steep ups or downs yet, but if it's like my first 2 days were, I'm sure that that's coming. So yeah, I'll take more pictures and more videos once I get to maybe some more scenic places. And yeah, so we'll check in again later. Okay, I finally got a good view of the ocean this morning. So thought I'd stop and get a little bit of video of the waves coming in against the cliffs. So yeah, and actually today I'm not going to see a whole lot of this anyway, because I'm heading inland to my destination. So today there won't be a lot of ocean views like this. Okay, well, now it looks like the trail is just taking me along a road here, and I'm still near the ocean. You can look over there, see some cliffs and the ocean. But yeah, I'm essentially walking along a nice wide sidewalk right next to this road right here. So that's the thing about the Fisherman's Trail. Let me let this vehicle pass. And another one, so that you can hear what I'm saying, because it's a little bit windy and the sound of the cars can make it hard for you to hear my voice. But anyway, yeah, you never know what you're going to see in the next 10 or 15 minutes when you're walking the Fisherman's Trail. Right now, like I said, I'm walking along this really smooth paved sidewalk, and but you know, 10-15 minutes from now I might be climbing a steep cliff or going across some sand dunes, or who knows, maybe even wading across a creek. That happened to me on day one. Had to get my feet wet. And so yeah, the Fisherman's Trail I'm discovering is you know, just on day 3 here, I've already seen lots of different types of terrain, from sidewalks to cliffs. Okay, it looks like the trail goes that way, but I'm looking down the road here, this lighthouse. I might walk up there and check that out and then come back and finish the trail. Well, like I said, the terrain, you know, changes in no time at all. I'm off that concrete sidewalk and back onto a more trail-like trail, and it looks like I get another good view of the ocean and cliffs. So yeah, eventually I'm supposed to be heading inland though today for, I think, the majority of my hike. We'll see. Like I said, I've never hiked the Fisherman's Trail before. I've done research the best I can, but my research has proven to be not always reliable. So yeah, but that's what makes it an adventure. You never know what you're going to find around the next bend when you're out hiking. the trail seems to have stayed along the coast today a lot more longer than I thought it would. But yeah, I'm about, let's see, I'm heading into about 6 miles on the trail today, and it looks like I'm going to have at least another mile or two to go before it actually starts heading inland. So yeah, it's been I've had some good views along the coast. The terrain has varied quite a bit. There's been portions of the trail that have been very rocky, and I just discovered somebody's got a little memorial set up down here for someone. Yeah, that's interesting. On the Camino de Santiago, there would be you'd find a lot of things like that. People would hike that trail specifically to reflect and think about some of their life's challenges and griefs and things like that, people that they've lost, and left little memorials along the way. And really, I think every trail you'll find things like that. But here's one on this trail. So yeah, okay. Okay, I've done about 10 miles today, and I think I've got at least a couple, 2 or 3 more miles to go until I get to Villa do Obispo. And for the last several kilometers, I've just been going along this gravel road here. Yeah, the hike today has been very different from my previous two. Yeah, it'll be interesting as I still have another week on the trail. It'll be interesting to see what the next 7 days have to offer. So yeah, yeah, I think I'm probably within about 3 miles or so of Villa do Obispo. And by the way, you have to forgive me for my I'm doing good just remembering the name of the town that I happen to be heading to, and the proper pronunciation is just a bonus. Yeah, when I start talking a bit about all these towns that I'm going to be spending the night in, my pronunciation, if you're Portuguese or even Spanish, you'll probably find my pronunciation is a bit lacking, but I'm doing the best to get as close as I can. So yeah, and parts of the trail like this, a lot of people would maybe call this a boring part of the trail. There were parts of even like the Camino and really just about any trail that might be less interesting, less scenic than other parts. But really, one of the things about hiking is that it really gives you a chance to sort of reflect on life, and things like that. And when you're on a portion of the trail that's like this, it really sort of gives you more of a chance to do some reflection And that's one of the things that I like about hiking and running, and even, you know, my time in my studio is taking that opportunity to reflect. So yeah, even though this is kind of, I got a bicyclist coming ahead and a vehicle from behind. Okay, so yeah, even though you're on portions of the trail like this that may not be, you know, a Buena Vista, you know, from a mountain view or something like that, it's you know, I still, you know, enjoy portions of the trail like this where, you know, you look out and just sort of see a horizon over a field and walking down a plain old gravel road. Well, this is the beginning of my 4th day on the Fisherman's Trail. Yeah, yesterday went really well. I'm hoping to have a nice hike today. Probably a little bit further. I did almost 13 miles. I did 12 and a half, 13 miles yesterday, and I think today's hike's probably going to be closer to 15 miles. I'm leaving the nice town here of Vila do Bispo, and actually I'm not quite sure what town I'm going to be stopping at today. I'll have to check my itinerary, but yeah, it's a clear day today, so I think it'll be a nice hike if it doesn't get too hot. I was checking the temperatures, and I don't think it's going to get too hot today. So yeah, I have a little ways to go to get out of town here, and then I'll see what the trail's like. Yeah, it looks like a good portion of my walk out of town today is going to be along a dirt road, very similar to the route that I took walking into town. So I don't know how far this will go like this, but you know, it makes the hiking just a lot easier since it's going to be a bit longer hike today, I think. So yeah, now I'm walking through an area that is surrounded by several pine trees, and even lots of pine cones hanging off the branches. So yeah, the scenery is changing a bit, but I'm still walking on this dirt road, and it's as far as the ups and downs, they've been minimal. A few little hills here and there, but yeah, so it's not a bad hike so far this morning. I got a feeling with that once I get to the coast, which is a few more miles. How many miles have I walked? I've walked about 3 miles so far today, and I probably have at least that much more to go, probably closer to 5 miles before I think I get back to where I see the shore. And then I'm pretty certain that the hiking will get a little more challenging, probably up and down more of those cliffs along the shore. So we'll see. So the Fisherman's Trail intersects with other trails along the way, and so far I've seen 2 other trail markings. The green and blue markings indicate that you are indeed on the Fisherman's Trail, and those are the ones that I'm looking for. But I also see a red and white markings that indicate that you're on the Grande Rota, and then there's also red and yellow lines that indicate that you're on, I think it's called the Pequina Rota. Okay, so it looks like I've got a bit of a ridge to climb over here, and I've got a feeling, since I've been hiking about 4 miles, I've got a feeling that once I get to the peak of this ridge, I ought to get a view of the coast. So yeah, just by looking at the different terrain over here, I have a feeling I'm getting near the coastline. Well, it looks like I was right about getting up to this ridge because I don't know if it's going to show up much in the video here, but I am getting my first view of the ocean. So yeah, look, I might have another mile or so to go before I actually get to the coast. You never know, I might be there sooner than I think. But I've only done about 4.5 miles so far. And I think originally I was guessing it might be as much as 6 miles before I reach the coast. I think I am going to get it before then, which means I'll have more miles to hike on the coast, which means it's going to be a little bit tougher hiking. So there we go. My first view of the cliffs. So yeah, I still have a little ways to go to get there, and I'm not quite at 5 miles yet. So all right, here we go. Well, it looks like I've pretty much reached the coast, and yeah, the trail is much different now. So the hiking's going to be a bit tougher. It looks like I've got a pretty steep and rugged downhill, and then an uphill portion that, let's see how that looks. That doesn't look too bad, but you never know until you get there. I see a hiker down there, a couple of hikers down there, about ready to head up. So yeah, so the trail is getting a little bit more demanding now, but a lot more scenic. Well, the trail from a distance, when I was up on that other ridge, looked pretty easy and not too rugged, but once you get there, it looks a lot different. So yeah, I talk about when the trail gets steep and a little treacherous, like you see behind me here. Sometimes people kind of wonder, why don't you video that? Well, mainly because I'm just trying to stay upright and not fall, and I often need to be using my hands for something other than my camera. So yeah, these portions of the trail don't get videotaped. And I'm back on a sort of a dirt gravelly road heading toward my destination. I think it's Carapataria, something like that, Carapataria. And I think today's hike is ending up being a bit shorter than I thought it would be, because I think I only have about another mile or so to go before I get there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, and if that's the case, I'm probably gonna have to wait a while until I can check into my accommodations. So yeah, we'll see if I'm right. This is day 5 of my hike of the Fisherman's Trail, and you may notice I'm wearing an extra layer today because as I'm leaving the town of Carapatera, I hope I pronounced that close to correct, but as I'm leaving a couple hours earlier than normal, and it's still a little bit chilly out, so I've got an extra layer on for at least the first few minutes of my hike until I get my body going. Anyway, yeah, the reason I'm leaving a bit earlier is that yeah, my research for this trek has been mostly, reliable, but on a few occasions, especially on day 1, I ran into some problems where my research wasn't quite right and other things didn't quite work out. But as far as my research, probably the least reliable part of it has been distances. And in some cases on day 1, I thought it was going to be a whole lot shorter than it ultimately ended up being. And then in the last few days, it has turned out to be a bit shorter. Oh, I've got somebody. A runner. Ha! Anyway, yeah, so the first day was much longer than my research was telling me, and more recent days have been shorter. So I dug a little more deeply into it last night, especially for this next leg here. And it looks like this next leg could end up being a lot longer than my original research was telling me it was going to be. So I wanted to get an early start. And also, I delved a little deeper into some of the characteristics of what the trail's like along here. And a lot of my reports were telling me it's going to be a tougher part of the trail too. So I'm leaving about 2 hours earlier than normal. And that's just to give myself a little bit of a buffer. And if the research I did, some of it turns out to be true, I'm going to need at least those extra 2 hours today. So we'll see how it goes. And here again, I'm heading out of town. In fact, I'm still not officially on the Fisherman's Trail yet. I'm walking down a road leading to the trail. So, yeah, I will see what the trail looks like once I get up there. I've got a feeling it's probably going to be a little bit more of that dirt gravelly trail for a while until I get closer to the shore. And you can see the ridge right over there. In fact, that might be over there. That might be the trail right there. And then once I get over that ridge, I think I'll be able to see the coast. So, all right, that's enough for my day 5 morning check-in. And let's keep our fingers crossed that today's trek isn't going to be too difficult for this old man. Well, I've made it to the trail, and it looks like it's going to start off with a little bit of a boardwalk. So yeah, that'll be a fun way to start it off. I got a feeling once I actually get to the coast, it's going to get a little bit tougher. Oh yeah, well, that was a short hike along the boardwalk here, and actually this is confirming much of what my last night's research said that there was going to be a lot of sandy walking on the trail. And walking on the sand can be pretty fatiguing. Yeah, this should be an interesting part of the trail, and definitely a bit more demanding. Different kind of demand than up and down the rocky cliffs, but definitely fatiguing walking, hiking through this sand. Yeah, the sandy trail like this, it's really mushy and almost feels like it's sucking your feet into the earth as you're trying to pick up your foot for the next stride. So yeah, I got a feeling if it's like this a lot, I'm gonna be tired. So, but it's a different kind of a challenge, and hopefully it'll be a nice change from the challenge of climbing the rocky cliffs. So, and I'm sure that I'm still not even at the shore yet. And once I get to the shore, I may run into more of those cliffs too today. And in fact, I think according to some of the research I had, I will indeed. Oh, and there's the shore. Yeah. So it looks like I'm gonna have to cross this little river here too if I'm gonna be heading north. This should be interesting. Hopefully there'll be a little bridge there, but we'll see. Okay, as the sun is rising, I'm thinking about taking off a layer, especially as the trail As I suspected, it's not so sandy now. It is as much as it is rocky. And yeah, I think I'll take this opportunity to take off a layer and prepare for a bit more rocky trail. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to have to wade across this river here or not. We'll find out. It looks like I am going to have to at least get my feet wet and cross this water. It's narrowed quite a bit right here near the shore, but yeah, there's no other way. I'm going to have to cross this. So I decided to take my shoes off before I cross the water here. I don't know if I'll see more of this water today, but if this is the only one, and it doesn't look so bad now that I'm down at this end, it's not so wide. So I decided, you know, I might as well see if I can keep my shoes dry for at least the first part of my trek today. So I'm gonna wade through. Doesn't look very deep at all. It's a lot more narrow now, and oh, the water feels kind of good. It's nice and cool, and this is not bad at all. Yeah, that was a nice easy crossing, and yeah, so I'm heading that direction. Ooh, look at the nice misty air over the waves there. Anyway, yeah, so and actually the sand, I think high tide comes up here and packs the sand a little bit better, so it's actually a lot easier to walk in with the sand packed like this. And actually this feels pretty good on my bare feet. I think it might actually be more comfortable hiking this part in my bare feet. So I'm going to leave my shoes off for a while and see how things go. Looking back at my footsteps here, and I don't see really any others. I see a jogger down there. I don't see any other footsteps on the trail here, so I might be the first Fisherman's Trail hiker crossing the beach here today. Who knows? Well, I'm not the only one to have been on the beach this morning. Looks like I've got a canine friend that's walked this way before me. Well, now that I'm heading back up, still in the sand has gotten much softer now, and especially when you're heading uphill in the really soft sand, that's really fatiguing. But I've decided to put my shoes back on because the trail is coming with some other little surprises. the trail has actually come inland a bit now, and yeah, it looks like I'm going to be the trail. I'm no longer in the sand. I've been in the sand almost all day so far, and it's approaching 4 miles into the hike. But now it looks like I'm going to be into this dirt, gravelly kind of road, and the trail's going to be going up and down quite a bit. In fact, in the distance there, going up the next ridge, it looks like I see another hiker. So yeah, let's see. Oh, another thing, you know, when I mentioned this morning that I had on that extra layer, something I forgot to mention that's probably different is I'm wearing my sunglasses right now. And the reason is my glasses, my normal glasses, you know, have a little screw in them that keeps the lens tighted in there, and evidently that came loose, and it's a really tiny little screw that you can't really do by hand. So it fell out and rendering my regular glasses useless. Fortunately, my sunglasses are prescription sunglasses, because I really can't see you know, enough to read fine print and stuff like that, and even my distance is pretty blurry if I don't have my glasses on. So with these sunglasses, and it's a nice sunny day today, so it's appropriate to be wearing them. But yeah, this allows me to see what I'm doing a lot better, these sunglasses. So I guess I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my hike, wearing the sunglasses, which is on a nice sunny day like this is not bad. But once I get indoors, and you know, if it gets dark out, could end up being a bit of a problem. But you know, you take what you get on the trail, and you know, the unexpected is what makes it part of the adventure. Still hiking inland. It's been a while since I've seen the shore, and still hiking along a dirt road, but right now I'm going through more of a wooded area, and actually I'm starting to see a lot more hikers, all of them heading south though, in the opposite direction of me. So yeah, it's about 11 o'clock, a little bit later in the day, so yeah, I'm starting to see more hikers on the trail. Okay, more water to cross, and it feels kind of good, kind of cool on the feet. Getting a little deep. Looks like I might get my pants a little wet. And that's okay. All right. Time to put the shoes back on. All right. I can finally see the ocean, and the trail is going to start changing a little bit, and it's about 11:30. This little restaurant here was a nice surprise along the way. I've done a little over 6.5 miles, and because I left so early this morning, I wasn't able to find a restaurant where I could have breakfast. So, but I anticipated that last night when I ordered, when I was having dinner, and I got a little cake for takeout that I could bring back, and then have it so I'd have something on my stomach in the morning when I left this morning. So it's not like I left with a completely empty stomach, but it was nice that I was able to stop here, and I got some eggs and bacon and a glass of juice, and yeah, and did a bit more research, and yeah, it looks like this is going to be a long hiking day. So we'll see how it goes. It might actually, I think I might be struggling to get to my hostel before the sun sets, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm finally reaching my first sizable town. And this is actually where a lot of people coming from where I just came from stop. I can't remember the name of this town, but I'm actually going on to the next one. So. This is day 6, and I think most of my hike is going to be inland today. So yeah, and I think it's going to be a lot of sand too. So, but I'm not really sure. We'll see what this day has in store. Okay, as I head out of town here, I'm not leaving quite as early as I did yesterday, because yesterday was indeed a killer day. And I'm learning some things just halfway into my hike of the Fisherman's Trail. And, you know, I try to avoid giving advice, but I do like to share my perspective and, you know, my hindsight a little bit that may or may not apply to you. But this is what I have definitely learned in terms of my planning and preparations for the Fisherman's Trail. And that is, number one, really research and check and double check distances from one place to another, and what can make a really big difference in the amount of miles or kilometers that you're hiking each day is where your accommodations are. It's advisable to book your accommodations in advance on the Fisherman's Trail, because the options aren't quite as plentiful as I found them on the Camino de Santiago. So I took the advice of others before I left, and I went ahead and booked all my nights before I ever left, you know, weeks in advance, just to make sure I could get something. And I used a combination of, I think it was mostly booking.com and some hotels.com, and I think maybe even Kayak. At least did some research on that. And one hotel, actually this was the one in Spain, I booked using my points. So it didn't cost me, well, it cost me my points. So yeah, I think there were like maybe 4 different places I booked through, searching for the best deals, things like that, and that's good. But what you need to do, and this is the mistake that I've made on a couple of things, is that you know, you do your searching, you've got to make sure, even though you say a specific town, you've got to make sure that the place you're booking is indeed in, or at least very close to that town. So, and I was aware of that actually when I was booking, but you've got to be very careful, especially when you're comparing one site to another, going back and forth, that before you actually book and commit to a place, it's where you want to be. So there's been a couple of occasions where I've noticed that my place that I'm have made my reservations is not really all that close to the town that I thought it was going to be. So it's added some miles to my hiking on a couple occasions. So yeah, okay, I've finally made it out of town. And but I'm still sort of on this kind of paved road. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I'm looks like today's hike is definitely going to be a lot of up and down hills, so that could be exhausting too, especially if I start running into that sand. So as far as cliff climbing and stuff, I don't, according to my research, looking at my maps, it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of that, but looks like I've got a lot of hills ahead of me, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, looks like the trail is taking me past some sort of a kennel or something. Lots of barking and howling dogs. So, yeah. They look well fed. They got on collars. So, yeah. I know. That's where you live. So when I'm on parts of the trail like this that are maybe, I mean, you can't say this is not scenic. Look at all these flowers around and everything, and it's a nice clear day. On parts of the trail like this, where it's less challenging and less dramatic, you know, some people might think that it's actually gets kind of boring, and but for me, a big part of you know, just getting out and hiking and doing things like this, really part of my motivation is just to get away and get an opportunity to reflect on my life and things like that. And so since we're in less dramatic part of the trail right now, and I can be a little more introspective and maybe reflect a little bit, not that I haven't on other parts of this trail already, but I just haven't shared those things. And looks like I go this way. I think the thing that I probably have been thinking most about, you know, is my dogs at home. I miss them, especially, you know, at night when I'm in bed. You know, I miss having them lying in bed next to me, and I'm not sure if I miss having them wake me up early in the morning, but yeah, and just being with them day to day. They are essentially my family. They're the guys or the gals. I've got two girls, Digger and Smoozer, and they're the ones I spend all my days with. And now I don't like leaving them for too long, but I think you know, for something like this, I think they're actually having a really good time at Puppy Lodge, where they can play with a lot of the other dogs. They don't get a chance to interact with other dogs that much, so their time at Puppy Lodges, I think they enjoy quite a bit. And to be perfectly honest, I think they're maybe a little bit disappointed when I get home and they're and it's just me again. But yeah, so I think about my dogs, and I miss them, and you know, I'm anxious to get back and be with them again. And I also think a lot about, you know, my work in my studio, and I'm mostly painting these days, and you know, it gives me a chance to sort of step away and think about you know, what I've been doing in the studio and in what direction I might want to head in maybe some future work. So those are probably the two main things that my mind tends to wander on when I'm in parts of the trail like this. Well, it looks like I'm approaching a little town here, and looks like it's large enough that they might have a little cafe or something for me to stop and get a cool drink. But I think it's Sunday, so they may not, if they have a cafe, it may not be open. So the only way I can find out is to head up there and see what they got. All right, yeah, now on more of a path, kind of a sandy path off the roads finally. A lot of time on the road today, but finally on a legitimate path, kind of sandy, and I'm in amongst these pines again, so this makes for a much nicer hike than walking along that pavement there. Oh, and by the way, I'm getting closer to the coast now, and it does look like I am going to have a few miles of hiking along the coast, so might have some nice views. But I think that's at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour away. Okay, here it is. My first view of the ocean today. Yeah, I still have a little ways to go before I get there. Okay, so here I am back on the coast, and the trail's sandy but not too bad. It looks like it's going to wind along here, and so far I haven't come across any steep cliffs or anything that I have to climb up or down. So, but I just now started hiking along. We'll see what it all has in store for me. Now I got to walk through these pines right now, but yeah, this is a little more like what you typically see when you see videos of people walking along the Fisherman's Trail. You get to see the ocean in the background. So, all right, I think I've got about I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 miles of the coastline here before I head back inland. Okay, well, that was a kind of a brief taste of the shore. I'm heading back inland a bit along this road, surrounded by a bunch of pines again. But this is just a little detour around a kind of a cove or something. And in about another maybe 45 minutes, I should be back on the coast for a longer stretch of coastline walking. So, but not complaining about this. This isn't bad, especially the shade. Kind of nice being in the shade. All right, well, I'm heading inland again for the last time today because looks like I'm going to be walking along this little river or whatever it is, feeding into the ocean, and heading up there, I think, to that village up there, which is probably going to be close to an hour walk for me. So I've got about an hour of walking what it looks like along this road right here. So, and that'll be the end of day 6 for me. So there we go. Well, this is the morning of day 7. I'm not on the trail yet. I'm actually heading out to get a little bit of breakfast. And today I don't have to take off so early because it should be a relatively short and fairly easy day of hiking today. So I'm going to take my time and have a nice breakfast before I actually head back to the trail. Well, this was one of the nice hostels I stayed at. That was literally right on the trail. The trail goes through the town here, and the hostel is right on my path. So that was nice. Doing a little construction here, so that's all right. Well, they were doing a little construction back there, so I had to walk a little further so you can hear what I'm saying. But basically, all I was saying was that the hostel was directly on the trail today, so that was nice. Didn't add any extra kilometers to my steps today or yesterday, or today for that matter, because I'm starting off right on the trail. So yeah, and today's hike should be a pretty short one, I hope, if all goes as planned. And that sort of was not really my intention. Like I mentioned yesterday, I sort of made a mistake in booking my accommodations, and they're coming sooner, about I think maybe 8 kilometers before I intended it to, which means tomorrow's hike I just added another 8 to 10 kilometers to tomorrow's hike. So I think that one's going to be around pretty close to 30-kilometer hike. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this is a nice little town. Had some nice restaurants. I had a nice pizza last night for dinner, and a good eggs breakfast this morning. So, and yeah, the most of my hike today is going to be along the coast, so I ought to have some nice ocean views. Well, it looks like we've got a group of hikers up here waiting for a bus. Well, I've reached the shore, and I'm climbing up one of the cliffs. The grade is not too bad right now, so it's not really going to be a killer climb. It doesn't look like, at least for the early part of my way up the cliff. So no need to use my trekking poles or anything like that. Just got to watch my step. As you can see, it's pretty rocky. and easy to trip if you're not paying attention to where you're stepping. So yeah, let's see how much of this I have to do before I get up to where I get a good view. While I'm trekking up this trail, I think I'll take this opportunity to share a bit more of my perspective and my experience, not so much hiking, but just traveling in general and managing your finances. I usually don't carry a lot of cash with me. I like to use my credit card because I've got a nice credit card from my bank that doesn't charge any international transaction fees. And so I try to keep as little cash on me as possible. However, on this trip, a lot of the places, especially more remote places, will only take cash, or in this case, euros. And so I did get some euros, but I've started to run out. And there's a particular, probably the most common ATM that you see in Europe would suggest that it's owned and operated by a European bank, but actually it's a U.S. owned, and it's not actually a bank at all. They just run these ATMs, and I'm not going to name it because it's a big company probably, and they might see a little YouTuber like me as somebody they might need to sue for saying something bad about them. But what they do is they have really bad fees. It's high fees in transactions, and it's not the ideal way to do it. But I've also noticed, and this is not just in Portugal, this is in other places, when you're using an ATM, they will ask you whether or not you want their bank to do the conversion for you, and you generally you should decline that because their conversion rate is not going to be as good as your bank's conversion rate. So I will always decline the conversion. However, I've noticed recently, and this is not just in Portugal, that a lot of times when you do that, it says that they can't complete the transaction. And I've noticed that at least on one occasion when I've had an ATM tell me that they can't complete the transaction, I went ahead and tried again, except I told them to go ahead and do the conversion. And surprisingly, once I agreed to let them do the conversion rate, I was able to get my cash. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but that's something interesting that I'm going to look into a little bit more. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is my first pretty good view of the ocean today, but I'm going to be heading off onto some more cliffs where I think I'm going to have an even better view. All right, so I have now officially made it up the cliff and to the coast. And yeah, I think I'm going to take this opportunity to stop, take my backpack off for a while. And I've got a banana in my pack. I'm going to consume that and then continue on my hike. And as always, you want to practice leave no trace and make sure you pack everything out. So regarding the cliffs, if you have a fear of heights, you probably don't want to get too close to the edge, but that's where you get the best views. Yeah, walking in the sand is tough enough, but walking uphill in the sand is really challenging. so this might be my last view of the ocean for today, because I think it's about time for me to take another trail inland to my accommodations for this evening. So, yeah, so I'll take it in, because until tomorrow, this is probably the last I'm going to see of the ocean. All right, well, day 8 has begun, and I'm starting early because I think it's going to be a long one today. Yeah, I seem to be walking by a little zoo here. Got zebras and buffalo. I think that might even be an American buffalo back there. Yeah, well, ostrich is in the way, but yeah, if that guy would raise his head, I'm pretty certain that we'd see an American buffalo. And I'm getting my first view of the ocean today, and I think most of my hike is gonna be pretty close to the shore, if not right on it today, but a very long hike. Okay, and I'm almost back to the trail, and it looks like I'm gonna be heading up that cliff. That doesn't look like it's too steep of a climb, but you never know until you get there. All right, well, I have summited my first cliff on day 8, and yeah, the view's just as good as all the others. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to stop and do as many videos today because I've got a lot of ground to cover. So I got to keep moving. So yeah, you'll notice it's kind of overcast today, and they've even predicted a chance of rain later on in the day. And so normally I wouldn't be wearing these sunglasses right now were it not for the issue I was having with my regular prescription glasses. So yeah, but I think when I go through a town and I see people, they might be wondering, why is this crazy guy wearing sunglasses on such a cloudy day? It's nice though that it's being overcast. It's keeping it a lot cooler. So I'm not complaining, just wanting to explain why I'm wearing sunglasses on a cloudy day. So this is the town where I thought I had booked a night for last night, and where I thought I would be starting from today. Going through portions of the trail like this almost remind me of a lot of portions along the Appalachian Trail where the foliage is all around you, and they refer to the Appalachian Trail in the States as the Green Tunnel. And I'm going through a bit of a tunnel now. In fact, I've been for a few minutes walking through these. Well, one thing different is the sand. Yeah, you don't see a lot of sand on the Appalachian Trail, but all this greenery around me and this green tunnel kind of reminds me of my days on the Appalachian Trail. Well, yeah, I'm walking along another one of these trails. Just goes alongside a road. So not a lot interesting to see, so I thought I would go ahead and talk about my situation today. You do have other options. If you decide that you want to skip a part of the trail, a lot of times you can catch a bus in one town and take it to another to skip a portion of the trail. And actually, when I had my situation with my booking and had this extra long hike to do today, I was thinking about the town that I was supposed to have stayed in. I think it was some Terra do Mar, something like that. I was thinking that you know, I might be able to, and I checked that there was a bus that would actually take me to the next town, and so I wouldn't have this long walk today. And I went ahead and purchased a ticket, but you know, today has turned out to be, because of the overcast skies, it's not too hot, and I made really good time to the place I was supposed to be. But anyway, I decided to just go ahead and keep on walking and do the whole thing. But yeah, if you're out here and you decide that you need to take it easy for a day, there are options to take a bus. Got a little bunny on the trail here. Yeah. There he goes. head inland to Almo Grave, where I have reservations at a hostel. Okay, this is day 9 of my hike of the Fisherman's Trail. I'm leaving the town of Almo Grave, and yeah, this is day 9, which means tomorrow, being day 10, is going to be the last day of this hike. It's actually gone pretty fast, and I think today's hike, in fact, the next 2 days, I guess, is going to be a lot more of the sand, but today's hike, just before I get to oh, what's the name of the town I'm heading to? I can't remember, but anyway, but just before I get there, evidently there's a ferry that I have to ride to get across and into the town, so that might be kind of fun. I've heard different stories. I've heard that there's alternatives. You can there's a little trail around. You can either walk around over a bridge or take the ferry, and I've heard different stories about which is the best option, but yeah, I think I'll take the ferry just because I always like getting on a boat. The skies are clearing a bit. The sun's starting to come out, so that means it's probably going to start warming up here soon. Well, my bed last night was not very comfortable, and I got a kind of a kink in my back and pinched nerve or something, so that's started to sort of tweak on me a little bit when I take a certain step sideways or up or down, so hopefully that doesn't get worse throughout the day. We'll keep an eye on that. yeah, this trek is going a lot faster than I even thought. I knew it was going to be a short day, but I don't think I have definitely no more than 2 more hours of hiking to do today. So thought I'd stop, take a break, have a little water, and then get on my way. So yeah, I think I'm pretty close to where I'll be taking the ferry. But a lot of today's trek has gone through these sort of woodsy areas like this, which I actually enjoy walking through areas like this just as much as going along the coast, along the cliffs. So that looks like today's destination. Still a bit of ways away, but not too long till I get there. Well, I think somewhere here is where they were supposed to have a ferry, but I don't see any kind of ferry. So looks like I'm going to just walk up there and cross that bridge. Well, I made it. Day 9 is done. Day 9 of hiking, and I'm preparing for my last day tomorrow. So, yeah, there we go. Day 9 in the books. Well, it's day 10, and I'm leaving the town of Villanova Milfonez and heading toward Porto Covo on this day 10, the last day of my hike, the Fisherman's Trail. Porto Covo will be my last stop. I'll spend the night there and then head to Lisbon and fly home. So yeah, but I still have another day of hiking left, and I think today's trek is going to be somewhere around 22 kilometers and probably a lot of sand, so that'll make it kind of tough, but just sort of in terms of distance, kind of an average day. No more 30-kilometer days anyway. Okay, so we'll see how this final day of my hike of the Fisherman's Trail goes. Well, that sun is already bearing down on me, so I think today's going to be a hot one. this is my first view of the ocean today. Yep, it's still there. Okay, so I'm now officially hiking along the cliffs today, and I think this is the way most of today, according to my map, looks like this is what it's going to be like most of the day, and a lot of sand. Oh boy, more uphill in this really deep sand. Well, I'm guessing I might be about a third of the way there. So I decided to take a risk, have some water, and get this pack off my back for a while. And I figure that I've got at least 4 more hours of hiking to do today. I wonder if that is going to be my destination for today. Could be. That's interesting. I thought the Portuguese route of the Camino de Santiago began in Lisbon, but I'm starting to see some Camino signs. So evidently you can start this far south. Well, this doesn't look good. See how I'm going to navigate this. Well, I've made it to Porto Covo, my last stop on the trail. Now it's just a matter of finding my hostel, and I think it's might be a pretty good walk away from here on the other side of the town, but we'll see. Well, the sun is setting here in Porto Covo, Portugal, and I have completed my hike of the Fisherman's Trail, and I suppose I'm ready to go home. But yeah, one last chance to take in the great views here, the setting sun and almost full moon up there. Yeah, this has been a great adventure for me.